The one thing people don't know about narcissistic abuse, unless they've been through it, is that you live in these two different worlds at the same time. There's the world where the narcissist is really a good person deep down inside. They really want the relationship to work. And if you just pour more love into them, then you can bring out that good person within them. That's the hope. That's the fantasy. That's the dream world that most people desperately want to be true, and they fight for it with everything that they have. And then there's the world where the narcissist cannot love you, they can't respect you, be loyal to you, or faithful to you. They don't feel what you feel, and they don't form mature emotional bonds. And that's a dark and scary world, but it's reality. But when you're going through that abuse and you're going through that devaluation stage, you oscillate between the fantasy world and reality. And the fantasy world feels a whole lot better than reality. And so most people will fight to hold on to the fantasy and even deny themselves throughout that process of going through the abuse. It's analogous to the movie, or the series rather, Stranger Things, where you have these two worlds that exist in the same physical space, but in like two different dimensions almost. And there's this world where everything is dark and scary, and these characters are under attack and they don't want to deal with it. And then there's this world that they can retreat to where things are relatively normal. And that's how it is for people who are going through that narcissistic abuse when they're experiencing that cognitive dissonance, which is the emotional discomfort as a result of having two conflicting thoughts about their abuser at the same time. This person loves me, this person is attacking me and abusing me. And these two different thoughts about this person creates two different narratives, two different world views that you have. Views that you have about them, views that you have about the relationship, and views that you have about yourself. And so the only way that you can really break free of that trauma bond and get out of that fantasy world is to really accept reality for what it is. And reality is a whole lot scarier than the fantasy world, because you have to come to terms with the fact that this person you have loved and invested in and given access to your heart is someone who is incapable of reciprocating that. And that's a terrifying thought for anybody to have and to come to terms with. But the way you come to terms with it is by looking at their behavior. You have to look at what they do, not what they say. If you pay attention to what they say, that it's going to cast a spell on you and keep you trapped in the fantasy world and delusion. But as you pay attention to their behavior and the things that they actually do, that's where you get the truth. And that's where the truth sets you free.